Part 2 of how I became a pilot. Today, let's talk about my first pilot's license which I ever made, which was for a sailplane or roaring plane, depending on which geo you are in. That education actually started off when I was 14. I was actually sitting in a plane earlier before that a couple of times, even with instructors, but the official education started with 14, which is the legal age where you can start your formal education as a sailplane flyer here in Europe or in Germany. From an education perspective, there are single and dual-seater planes, so initially you start your education in a dual-seater plane. But it's not only about learning to fly, because when you look at sailplane flying clubs, there is a lot which needs to be done to get a sailplane up in the air. There is someone who needs to sit at the bench if it's actually pulled up. That way you need a secondary pilot in a motor plane which pulls the plane up. You need people at the wings who actually carry you along until there is enough uptake to take the plane up and level the wings out. And so there is a lot of things to be done. So it only works as a team sport from that perspective, even if in the end only one or two people are flying. So the typical rule back in the days during these educations was that basically the younger ones who learned flying were taking care that the older, more experienced pilots who went on longer distance flights were brought up in the air first, and then the education part started after that. The education roughly took around 3 to 4 years. That was normal back then. You could speed it up. There were flying schools where you could actually get this done in a complete summer, but this gave you several seasons. The good part out of this team sports is we had camps which we actually participated every summer where, or not only in the summer, but even during other breaks, where we took our planes and everything else, drove to a secondary airport, actually built up tents and RVs and everything else, and stayed there for a week or two to actually experience flying in a different geo. For me, this was far more than just learning to fly. This was how to work in a team and a lot of technical education to a certain degree. For a certain period, I was even responsible for, I think, 2 planes to actually do the monthly maintenance and everything else. And I can only encourage everybody, especially young people who are enthusiastic about aviation, go and look up if there is a sailplane roaring club near you where you could actually attend that club and learn how to fly. It's typically not as expensive as most people think, and it could actually get you one step nearer to where you are. And in most cases, you're learning a group of very enthusiastic and technical oriented people to know. Stay tuned for more on how I actually became part of the aviation industry, business, whatsoever. And I will keep you updated on this journey. See you soon.